welcome back to the No Switch Fitness YouTube page. Super excited to get a session in today. We had some posing with one of my clients, Linwood, to start it out. He'll be doing the Ben Weider Natural Pro as a pro physique athlete, so excited to see him hit the stage. And then we got back at hamstrings today. So again, still no hip hinge. We'll be subbing out one of the movements from the last time you saw this pattern, or this session. So that'll be a cool pattern to kind of go over. I'm going to be starting with the single arm pull downs. Really just trying to align wrist, elbow to shoulder as best as we can because of that lack of access to external rotation commonly seen. So really fun session today. One that's going to be very heavily skewed towards lat development. So let's dive in, get into the session, and get some takeaways for you guys.
Yes, muscle him down. Let's go.
Yes. Is that really 13?
13 both arms.
Fucking A. My head said 15. All right, so overhand T-bar row next. In my opinion, probably should be the meat and potatoes overhand row for most. It's just too ideal of a pattern to not be. With the load taken because of the bar, the fixed position for lack of erector loading. You can get a lot of output for teres and trap here, rear delts on two. I think it's just overall movement it should be in most everyone's program. We do a variation, so we'll do the row and then we'll go into a kelso shrug. A product of needing a little bit more mid trap, especially when that back level when you externally rotate and try to flare those scaps. You'll a lot of times see that trap start to spread out a little bit too much. So a product of needing that is the kelso shrug here. We've got 2 sets, both will be in the 8 to 12. Get after it. So you'll see we'll run through some warm-ups here. We're actually going to do 3 warm-ups. I know we did all those work sets in the lat pull down, but transferring tension to primarily traps and teres here, still good to warm up the pattern. So directionally, we haven't done anything that requires a lot of scapular motion, so really good to kind of get warmed up for the pattern, especially with the loads we're playing with now that would progress this up in good ways. So 3 warm-ups here, and then we'll get into our 2 work sets.
You want to lift? Come on, one more.
Good. You got more.
Oh, get up. Come on.
Let me know.
Right.
Marshall? Kelso shrugs. We forgot to tell you that part. So we're basically just trying to retract your scapula, get your shrugs in there, the traps at the end.
Once you can't complete a rep, do those.
Exactly. Yes. Strip one off. Whoa! Come on. 1, 2. Up. Up. All the way. There you go. Up. 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 Up.
1, take it, come on.
Oh!
One more, go.
Oh! One. Back.
I didn't pull that plate too early, did I?
No.
That looked on the money.
Those felt great.
9.
I'm super pumped about that. That felt awesome.
Increments, even if you hit 13 each time, will move you forward. Like, it's not just about this block, it's about the next 3 years of training. That's the difference. So like 8 to 9 is like asking for that shit to happen. 8 and 10, 8 and 15, 8 and 20, 8 and a quarter, 8 and 30. And if you get 13 each fucking week, and you're fucking safe. Like I get one, I mean, look, man, more than anybody, I love loading up a fucking pack and burying that bitch for 6 heavy reps, right? But long term, how many times you do that across training blocks should be very calculated. That was not calculated. At least it's not fun. Alright, so we were doing a prime horizontal row here that was pin loaded. We were doing it single arm. We talked about how the main issue with it was that it kind of rose up at you, so it's hard to kind of drive that humeral depression. That's been in the program for a while. That was in our sessions back when we were in prep too. So we kind of ran into the ground where we're going to rinse and repeat something else. So we're coming to a single arm prime extreme row this week for the first time. It's not my favorite row for all that. Reason being is like, if you look at the arc from start to finish, it kind of comes up this way and then back at you. So instead of pulling this way the entire time, right about here it wants to kind of come back this direction. But you can set it up where if you get over the top of it enough, you get a lot of lat. So while it might not be the optimal row, you will get a lot out of it. The single arm cable row that I really like for lats is in our other back day, so I don't want to do it in both sessions. And starting with this, we'll have a lot of runway for movement. So we're setting it up similar to a dumbbell row with that staggered foot stance brace, elbow on the chest pad, and really trying to let the lat get into that stretch position with the variable loading. We'll have a little bit more in the stretch position, and then dropping off as we pull to accommodate for the lat. So we'll do a warm up here or two just to kind of see where we need to work since we haven't done this in a long time. The big thing here is not rotating with it as you pull, because it's easy to do.
don't feel like I was like hitting a rack. I can feel you like touching it. I love that.
Good. Good. I just wish it didn't arc quite as much. Alright, so single-legged hamstring curl here. Really just trying to get the hamstring really short. So I'm using the machine to actually wedge myself into the pad so that I have as much quad surface area jammed into that pad. And I'm cueing, driving that quad into the pad to start the curl. If you do it right, you'll actually wedge yourself in there so hard that you kind of pick the weight up off the stat. And that'll kind of be close to your start position. So really just trying to get the hamstring short, and then we'll go into a seated hamstring curl to lengthen it. This is a really valuable movement. Doing a single leg will increase adductor involvement a little bit just from stabilizing the pelvis. So if you even further internally rotate the leg, it'll increase that as well. So I do drive a little bit of internal as much as I can. So 3 sets here, all of them like 10 to 15. So prime seated ham curl. I'm going to strain on lengthened hamstring a little bit more, obviously because we're in the seated position, it's leaned over the hip. We'll also put the cam position on 5, which is biased towards the lengthen. So we are loading a pretty lengthened hamstring here. So it's really valuable to pause the top of it before we go down into it. When we're bracing, you want to push down and into the pad, not just out. Because if we push out, we'll start to lean back and really start to move those hips, which we don't want because you'll take the hamstring out of it quite a bit. So lock it in, brace it, pause on the top, make the most of it. You ready, Nick?
Yep.
I'm going.
One down. Yes, here we go. I knew you were in trouble at 8.
5-pound low jump, though.
You did a 5-pound low jump?
5-pound low jump, match rep. My whole body. Alright, so rear delt cable fly. We have this loaded where it's heaviest in this position. What you won't see us do is start to cross our body here. Going into that more internal rotation, cross body, we'll kind of pull traps into it a little bit too much and rotate a couple rough. So you'll see us like kind of stop at that shoulder joint. We're kind of in a neutral torso position because we want that rear delt alignment to where the pad's going to be. So kind of like in the reverse pet deck when we lean forward, you get that hand above the shoulder. Same thing, so that arc path is following here, right along the rear delt line. So you'll see it's like a depression-ish path. It's just so that we follow that rear delt as we move the humerus closer to the scapula. You gotta, once you find that you're in here, it's there, not there. walking a few walls here so that he can, so see how he's not retracting much? It's just like straight out with his hands. All right, guys, wrapping up the session here. Good one, yeah?
Good pull. Finish off with the hamstring. Personally, that's what I need to really bring up is my hamstring. So sprinkle these in and these definitely pay dividends and enough back stimulus to recover for the next session. So it's about perfect program for me especially.
Yeah, so we got that extra hamstring volume here on top of the hamstring we do on our leg day. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Drop your questions in the comment box below. We'll be down there answering any questions. We got plenty of content coming your way. Training, education, food education, pretty much anything that you guys want to see. Let us know in the comment box. And look forward to seeing you in future videos. Until then, know all switch in pursuit of results.